Hello, and welcome to
Get
Get
schooled.
Schooled. This is Miss Prunier.
This is Mrs. Kingsbury. I pointed. I don't know where the screens are this time.
I don't know either. And today we are here with Miss Ferguson, who we will probably call Fergs today.
Sounds good to me.
Today is a little bit of a different episode. We both created casts for Romeo and Juliet. We chose our actors and actresses very specially and carefully, and we are going to go through our casts. That's a hard word to say fast. We're going to go through them individually and then get some commentary. We're going to talk about it a little bit afterwards.
And we want to hear feedback from Fergs throughout, because out of all of us here, I feel like Fergs knows Romeo and Juliet like the back of her hand. She is, if you didn't know, the Shakespeare expert at Merrimack Valley High School.
Why, thank you.
You remember that time that somebody who will not be named put Post-its all over your Shakespeares?
Yep.
And there were so many of them. You probably had 100 Shakespeares in your classroom.
So use all my Post-its.
So
oh well.
Okay, so Miss Prunier is going to get us going today with her slideshow, and then I'm going to go after, and we are going to continually hear some feedback from Ferguson. Of course, I'll offer some commentary as well.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and then present the slideshow, and hopefully this works.
I see it.
Can you see everything?
Huzzah, I see it.
Okay. Casting. This is my Romeo. Can you see all of them? Because I have a lot.
Yes.
Yes. Ooh.
So for Romeo, I have a very specific look that I picture in my head, and I don't know why, but it needs to be a younger man, preferably, the actor could probably be around his 30s, but Romeo's a little bit older than Juliet, so that kind of had to be a bit of a contrast. I love Patrick Schwarzenegger, and I think he's so, like, people don't think about him very often in, like, different roles like this. I don't know, just a lot of different versions of the same look, but that's okay. Also, Joe Alwyn, if you don't know him, he's currently dating Taylor Swift, and he's such a sweetheart. I think he'd be perfect.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, the more you know.
Mercutio, top vote is for Robert. He is from the Umbrella Academy. If you don't know, if you can't picture him, I need that type of mischievous, kind of sexual, more attractive than Romeo a little bit, but like maybe just more out there. I think that he needs to be the star. So probably an actor that people remember from a specific movie or show, but haven't seen in this type of light. So that's why I cast these guys.
I like that you picked Lucas Hedges. What is he in?
I love him. I know him from the Manchester by the Sea movie.
Oh, okay. That's what I've seen him in. Okay, thank you.
He's much more dramatic, but he also has that like, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it.
How do you say the gentleman in the middle? How do you say his name?
Avin Jogia.
Okay.
He used to be like a Nickelodeon kid, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Great hair.
This is an older picture, but he does have that like.
Kind of am jealous. Like my hair's getting all long, so I'm like, I need to get a haircut, and
That Jogia look.
That looks like a nice look.
Yeah.
Good look.
I think it would be interesting adding some diversity to the characters rather than just having an all-white cast, even though, to be fair, most of my cast is white. I think it would be interesting to have a little bit of different depth there. I didn't realize that my Benvolios were almost the exact same person. They look exactly alike. But I have a very clear image of like very sensitive, boyish young man, because he's like the gentle peace bringer, and I don't know why I just have this like Asa Butterfield, Alex Lothar kind of character in my head. And I came up with Alex first, and then I was watching Sex Ed on Netflix, and I was like, Asa Butterfield. Like a great portfolio.
That. I agree.
It's good. You're good. You're soft. I'm so excited for Friar Lawrence. I just gotta say. He's supposed to be kind and wise, and he just wants the right thing, and that's all these characters and these actors are to me. So Sam Neill, super sweetheart. I don't know if I've seen him in anything since Jurassic Park. I know he's in stuff, but he's great. Look at how kind he is. Look at that face.
He plays Merlin in a Merlin movie. I just know because somebody left the VHS in my classroom.
That's hilarious. And then Jonathan Frakes, I met him at Comic-Con. He is such a sweetheart.
Who's he?
Star Trek, right?
Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Yep. That makes sense.
I'm proud of me for knowing that.
I am so proud of you for knowing that.
My mom used to watch it.
He is one of the most down-to-earth actors that I've met at Comic-Cons. He spent 30 minutes talking to me and my brother, and I just have this very Godfather-y kind of view of him, but not the Godfather, you know what I mean? Just the wise older gentleman, but not grandpa age. Also, his daughter is a teacher. Super cool.
I also love that you go to Comic-Con with your brother. That makes me happy.
Depends on the family. And then Juliet. I have the idea of a shorter, very sweet looking, yet radiantly beautiful girl. She's supposed to be desired by a lot of different people, right? So when I was casting this, I tried to picture the Romeo and Count Paris matching with this girl on certain levels. So my top vote is probably for Alicia. If you don't know her, she is in Ex Machina. She usually plays someone that looks a little bit different, but she is fantastic. They're all fantastic.
I feel so old because I don't know who most of these people have been. But I think Lily Rose Depp is Johnny Depp's daughter, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know one of these people. Yay.
Anna Taylor-Joy, if you saw that movie, oh goodness, what was it called?
She does look familiar.
If you saw The Witch,
yep.
blonde girl in that. If you saw the movie with James McAvoy where he has split personality and it's part of the Glass trilogy, she was the girl that tried to escape.
Okay, that makes
a lot of different things, but people don't know her name yet, which I think is super, super ridiculous because she's so flexible in all of these different types of roles. Zoe Dutch is Leah Thompson's daughter from Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
She is in a lot of different roles, usually typecast as the romantic comedy love interest, kind of the I don't really know any names of her movies, and that's part of it. I don't remember her from any specific movie, but I know she's in a ton, and they're all on Netflix. But she's good at being more dramatic too. This was hard with the cast. I did a lot. Tybalt. I don't know any of these actors. I'm gonna be upfront.
Okay.
I went on IMDb, and IMDb was like, "Hey, these are some nice Italian actors." Chase Strokes is from a new Netflix show that I just forgot the name of.
Outer Banks. I just started watching it.
There
I
you
watched
go.
it with my husband too. It's did anybody watch The OC?
A couple episodes.
The OC. I was obsessed with The OC. I'm pretty sure that the people that made The OC are involved with the making of The Outer Banks, but I just watched episode 1, and honestly, it's kind of corny, but it's good. It's entertaining.
He just looks like such a Tybalt to me in this picture. I don't know if it's the ring or the hair, but that kind of
attitude.
The attitude, the little overbearing, maybe a little bit more protective.
Bouldering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All got that like, what are you doing talking about cousin kind of look. And
I'm gonna get you. Yeah.
yeah, they're just good. I don't know.
I love the flowers in your background, I have to say.
Thank you. This is the last slide with flowers.
So pretty. So pretty.
To look, see, because he's interesting, but he's also delicate on the inside, and he shows this bravado in a different way. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So part of the reason why I had such a hard time casting the nurse is because she was supposed to have a daughter the same age as Juliet, right? So
Yep.
she has to still be within 15 years of possible childbirth age, especially for that time period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to picture someone that was a little bit younger looking. Julie Walters is amazing. I think she would play the dirty birdie role wonderfully, but I think she's a little bit too old for that specific role, keeping in mind the whole childbirth thing. But Gina Davis, gorgeous, funny. I think she would fit right in very well.
Such a great pick.
That'd be good.
It was a great pick.
She's so cute. She's so pretty. Lord and Lady, Kevin Sorbo, Hercules.
Hercules.
I asked my boyfriend, I was like, hey, who's like a gentleman that like looks nice but could be like regal? And he was just like, Kevin Sorbo. It's like, okay, I agree. I didn't tell him anything about, Romeo and Juliet. I was just like, give me a regal kind of like man. And I think these two would look really nice together. The Montagues don't have many lines, but they look the part, and that's pretty important.
I also love Linda. I never know how to say her last name, but I love
Cara
her.
Delaney.
She's fantastic.
She was also in Mad Men, which is one of my favorite shows on TV.
She's been in everything.
She's in Freaks and Geeks. She's in Scooby-Doo.
Do you remember the time that she was the girl at the ski house in Boy Meets World? That broke up Corey and Topanga? Can we remember that? Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yes, I do remember that.
She also aged beautifully. Like, not saying that she's old at all, but she's always been gorgeous.
Or Netflix show that she's been in recently?
Oh my god.
I know she's in something.
Yeah, it's Christina Applegate in it too, I think.
Oh god.
Dead to Me, I think is what it's called.
I feel like I started watching that. It's really good too. I need to continue.
It was good.
She's got depth. Okay. Lord and Lady Capulet. So with Lady Capulet, I wanted her to be younger looking and really, really pretty. The whole scene where she's talking to Juliet about liking Paris in the very beginning, this is super early on, she needs to have that like, I'm still in my prime kind of attitude. And I think Naomi Watts is definitely still in her prime. And then Michael's, I can never say his last name. Michael. I'm just going to say Michael. He is not in many like big movies that you probably know, but he was in Call Me By Your Name. And he just has this kind of typecast of being like a mobster or like an aggressive Italian man, and I feel like he's very soft looking in pictures, but he can also act very stern and aggressive, which is super important for like the Act 3 Lord Capulet.
Yeah.
He starts to get very stern and aggressive towards Juliet, which we will read in a little bit.
My only concern about Naomi Watts, I think she's beautiful and fantastic, is that when Lady Capulet is talking to Juliet about marrying Paris, she said that like I was your mother around your age, so meaning that she was like almost 14, 15, because I know that Juliet's almost 14. So she would have to be like 30.
Yeah.
Which is my age, so hopefully I look a little younger than Naomi Watts. But then Lord Capulet, when he's talking with his cousin at the masquerade, says that he was a single man like the same age as like Romeo and what have you, and Tybalt back like 30 years ago. So there is a significant age difference between Lady Capulet and Lord Capulet. So these two do look, even though they're probably roughly the same age, it does look like there's a rather significant age difference. So that's probably.
I think the hard part with casting Lady Capulet as like a 30-year-old is that that's like Selena Gomez, you know, like
it doesn't.
they look like
make any
17.
sense. It would be Taylor Swift is like 30. It wouldn't make absolutely any sense considering if you're otherwise you have to have Romeo and Juliet actually be like 13-year-olds.
Yeah, and I think most of my Juliets that I cast were around 30 years old. So that was really hard to like make her obviously look a little bit older.
Yeah.
And maybe this isn't the right picture, but Naomi Watts, while she's beautiful, I definitely agree with you.
Mhm.
Is
It was hard.
possible with the age limits that are given in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. I tried to stick to it.
Maybe Naomi Watts at 30 then.
Yeah.
In the ring. Ooh.
Yeah. To that age.
I forgot she was in the ring.
Oh, she was good in it.
This is such a good little nugget, like Easter eggs, you know, things that you can watch in your free time. The Ring.
On
Well,
Netflix.
one of the guys that you picked for Romeo, Nicholas something.
Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, he in that like Warm Bodies or whatever, like the zombie movie.
He already played a Romeo-esque character.
Yeah, so he's already done it. So he, I think, would be phenomenal. I was thinking
Already.
Just realized where I knew him from.
I think he also was in a role with one or more of the Juliets, where they were like romantic. So I was like, he's just a ladies' man.
Yeah.
I think I have a couple more characters, and then we'll wrap it up. Billy Zane.
Oh my gosh.
Billy Zane.
Billy Zane.
Prince Aeschylus needs to be commanding, attractive in my movie, obviously. Needs to have that hair. You know, he needs to be able to go and look like how I picture Prince Charming from Shrek. You know.
I think Billy Zane would have been perfect in the Leonardo version, but obviously, because I'm thinking Titanic, as Tybalt. If it was back in the 90s, I think he would have, I mean, because again, I have the Jack and Cal thought in my mind from Titanic.
Oh,
That'd be great. I thought they were in a movie together before Titanic or other than Titanic, but I don't think they have been. I think the two of them, just like the softer features and the more like, not necessarily stern, but like classically attractive features of these gentlemen, I feel like that contrasts very nicely with the younger kind of Leo look. Nicolaj, I think he should be a prince more often. I know he is a Lannister, got a lot going there. He's also very soft looking in like him pictures, not like movie stills. But I think he needs to have a role where he's not the bad guy, and he's just so nice.
I've never seen Game of Thrones, so seeing like now that I know that's where he's from.
Yes.
Not knowing he was a bad guy, I can't even picture him as a bad guy. He just looks so nice.
He's kind of the thing about bad guys in Game of Thrones is that they're sometimes good guys. And sometimes he is a good guy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's weird. The characters are very complex. That show is also a good marathon show to just binge watch as long as your parents are okay with it.
Yes. 17 and up, but like get parents' approval.
Ever on TV. I love that you brought Billy Zane back into the scene, though.
I love Billy Zane.
I know he hasn't been in a lot of things recently. He should. He's great.
Bring him back.
Look at him. He's gorgeous. It's an older picture, but he's still gorgeous.
And I don't know what knit he's wearing, but I'm a fan.
I noticed that too. I was like, oh, I like that sweater.
Man that can wear a knit cardigan. And then last but not least,
Ooh.
Who is he? He looks so familiar.
He's also in Game of Thrones. He's also in 1917. He's in a lot of different things. Richard Madden. What a model. I want him to be somebody that would look idealized with Juliet. but not necessarily someone that she wants to be with.
That's fair.
Like, you have this gorgeous young girl, but he could play somebody who's a little bit more distant from her, while also being very regal and, having his established authority as count and as somebody who wants to be with her, maybe not for the right reasons. I think he could play that perfectly. I'm also trying to get away from the idea that Count Paris is maybe not as bright as everyone might think he is. I think Count Paris should be a little bit smarter than he was portrayed in the Baz Luhrmann one. Although I love Paul Rudd, don't get me wrong, I love him.
Oh, he should definitely be in this because he does not age at all.
So true. He looks the same as he did then.
Wow, crazy.
I feel like he actually looks better now.
Paul Rudd.
Like, he must have gotten a stylist or something because things are going well for him.
Laughter's the best medicine, right?
So true.
But I just think that Count Paris should be somebody that Juliet wouldn't be like disgusted by. Like, it should look good, that the two of them together. And he does have quite a few lines, so it needs to be a good actor,
Yeah.
Sure.
He's supposed to be super dreamy, so that works.
I love his hair. You
Great.
picked a really nice picture for him too.
He's so nice. So that is my little cast.
I'm kind of nervous. You did such a nice job with the formatting of your slideshow. Mine does not look as cute as yours.
That's okay.
Just a heads up. Okay. Oh my god, I'm so... You guys are going to know some of my favorite actors and actresses after this is all done. Just breathing. I'm a little bit nervous. Breathing through it. When you get nervous before a presentation, that's my best advice, is to remember to breathe, because it can be a little bit nerve-wracking and you can get, like, I don't know, jittery.
Everybody here is here for you, so it's okay.
Can you guys see?
Mhm.
Sorry. Okay, we're gonna get going. I'm going to present. Okay, so this is my ideal cast, and this is 2020. You know, this could change at any time, so just be aware. So I want to start off with Lord and Lady Montague. So I cast Matthew McConaughey and Winona Ryder as Lord and Lady Montague because, well, I mean, I just wanted, if we do have a Lord Montague and he has so few lines as it is, I want him to steal the scene, and I feel like Matthew McConaughey can do that.
Yep.
I also feel like Winona Ryder complements who I chose for Romeo. She's got that kind of emo look a little bit.
Great in that picture. I can only picture her as like her character in Stranger Things being all like, all the time.
The Christmas lights.
Yeah.
But Winona Ryder is one of my all-time favorite actresses, and I know that she maybe isn't the best actress, but when you think about it, but I love her. I love her and everything. I've seen most of what she's done, and I'm a big fan. So I wanted to include her in this in some way, somehow, and she did fit perfectly because I chose Timothy Chalamet.
I knew that's who you were going to pick for Romeo. Like, I was entirely convinced that that's who you were going to have.
I love Timothy Chalamet because he is so poetic, and I mean, in these pictures he is a little bit emotional, and I do like that, the ability to be able to convey the complexity of Romeo's character, the fact that he is going from, loving Rosalind to feeling deep emotional feelings for Juliet to the point where he gets married to her. I feel like he could pull it off, but I almost wonder if he's too mature. That's my only...
I've never seen him in anything. I just know who he is.
He is in Lady Bird. He is in Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name, and The King.
Interstellar.
He's the king in there's a Netflix movie that he plays a king, but he does such a good job. Oh my god.
That last picture of him, the one all the way on the right, reminds me of that Sprouse kid from Riverdale.
Cole.
Yes. Is that Cole Sprouse?
I never know which one's which.
Dylan? Cole?
I
Dylan?
still think there's
One's
acting
in
coach.
Daddy, one is in the other one.
Yeah.
The show you just mentioned, Riverdale. I haven't seen that show. So
Neither.
Timothy Chalamet.
I think he's wonderful. He is maybe like, what, 22? And he has over like 80 nominations for different awards.
I think he would do.
He only started professionally acting with Interstellar.
And he's English, and I do tend to think that English individuals tend to be better actors.
He's American.
Shakespearean.
Benvolio. I chose the same one, and I was trying to keep a poker face. I chose Asa Butterfield because I think he's the perfect Benvolio. He's so reserved. He's always kind of this character that is trying to keep the peace.
It's so calm.
I don't know. I don't
I
really
love that.
I like he's also in the Boy in the Striped Pajamas, so he's handled roles that are complicated, that are, I mean, he must have been so young filming that movie
About my age in real life.
Hmm.
He was in Hugo, so you know that he can deal with the stress of a very, very big production.
I haven't seen that.
So good. Martin Scorsese, oh my god.
I think he would be perfect. I didn't like the Benvolio that they had in the Leonardo DiCaprio version because he was too like
hard.
He's too much rough.
Yeah. He reminded me kind of like Gronkowski, but not. I don't know.
No, that's a good
Quite, not quite Gronkowski. And I just didn't think he had like the nice, sensitive side of him portrayed as well as it could have been.
I will say though, to put somebody that is kind of, I mean, that guy clearly works out in the more modern adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. That guy pumps the iron. So it is kind of nice to see somebody that's maybe more of a meathead be sensitive at the same time. At the same time, I see completely where you're coming from because it doesn't correlate necessarily all the time. And it's, I mean, I don't know.
So I'm not sure that they kind of made him seem more dumb than sensitive. You know what I mean? And so I didn't think like the sensitivity came up. Like I'm okay with him being like a huge bodybuilder. Like you could have Dwayne The Rock Johnson in there and it'd be fine. It just, I don't think he did the best job with.
No, actually, when I'm thinking about the last time I watched it with my husband, I feel like we talked about that guy. We didn't buy into his acting. I feel like he delivers his lines in a choppy way too. That's a really good point. I'm gonna watch that closely next time I watch the modern adaptation. I'm gonna move forward. Next up, we've got Mercutio.
Yes.
Franco, because he's testy. James Franco is so frequently playing a comedic role that I'd like him to take on something that's a little bit more serious. I know that he has played, roles in Shakespeare performances before. He's a pretty serious actor. He does take himself pretty seriously, and I would like to see him play the role of Mercutio. I think he'd kill it.
His brother would be good at it too.
Yeah, and I actually was thinking take either Franco for this role, but I prefer James just because, I don't know, maybe it's my generation, but
I don't know the other one that much. I'm not even sure what his name is.
They're both so adorable though. So either Franco would work, but I choose James. Friar Lawrence, I chose Christian Bale, and I have a Christian Bale obsession. So I want to just kind of feature. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't really. Okay, getting used to this. So if you see this nice bandana picture, and I'm scrolling over here with my mouse. This is Christian Bale from Newsies, the I believe early '90s musical. So go to a few years later, he's in American Psycho playing a freaking murderer, killer guy. Batman, we all know Christian Bale from Batman, so I'm gonna skim over that. He also played Dick Cheney, center screen here. He's gone from being super fit in Batman to playing Batman Dick Cheney. Also played a role in The Machinist where he had to lose about I can't remember exactly what it was, but I want to say it was over 100 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
And you can, I know this picture is creepy, so I was gonna give a trigger warning, but I honestly think it's not as bad as some of the things we've seen before. I chose him for Friar Lawrence because Friar Lawrence is the character that I think warns Romeo the most, and I would like to see that done. I don't know. I would like to see Christian Bale portray it because I think he could do it. I think he could take on a different kind of look if he wanted to really get down into the spirituality of the character. I would like to see him advise Romeo. I would maybe believe him more. I don't know.
I
I
like that.
really enjoy the Friar Lawrences I've seen cast ever before. I mean, in the modern adaptation, I like that one the best, but I think he's such a cool character too. And Christian Bale is a cool actor, and I would like to modernize him a little bit. I don't know.
I think it'd be an interesting choice. I mean, for me, it's a little hard to picture him just because he's usually he's either like sinister or he's just very sexy. Like it's hard to picture him being the gentle, like Alfred kind of character where he's the wise one.
He's like that in the Newsies, which is the movie I know him from the most. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I feel like he's inspiring in that movie, and I think it could
Kind of tricky. He's still more of like a Loki trickster kind of guy. I mean, he's not exactly like a man of God, but I think it would be really interesting to see him in that type of role.
I think it would be too, and I think he's also English. He's Welsh, and I was noticing that a lot of people forget that he has the English background. So I just think it would be cool to see him in something that's not as blockbuster as Batman necessarily, but I think it would be super cool to see him as Friar Lawrence. Okay, so Lord and Lady Capulet, we're gonna switch it up a bit. We're gonna go to literally my favorite actress, probably of all time, Nicole Kidman. As Lady Capulet, and I cast her. Actually, technically, in this photo, I did want to cast her as like a younger version of herself. She is probably in her, I want to say she's about 50, but I also don't interpret the role of Lady Capulet as being young because that's subjective. I mean, you can choose to cast her as older if you wanted to, and for all that she's saying that to Juliet, we don't necessarily need to believe what she tells her daughter.
That's fair.
Because I do think that she, more than anything, just wants her daughter to marry Paris because Paris has a position of power in society. And I don't think that she's necessarily, I think that she's looking at her retirement plan right now. I don't think she's looking at her daughter's happiness necessarily. So I think that I don't like to interpret her character as being young, because I don't think she's telling the truth. And that's how I like to interpret it. But I do want to say that's a thesis statement right there. That's an opinion. Take a side, go with it. Like you could choose either side with that. And I think either side is cool. For Lord Capulet, I did want to mix it up a bit. I do prefer a more diverse cast as well. So I do appreciate that Miss P is with me on that one. And I chose Denzel Washington, and you can see him here with his Academy Award in hand. So Lord Capulet, Denzel, although I would say I've seen him in stressful situations before, but it would be interesting seeing him in Act 3, getting spicier, if you will.
And he is he's been in many Shakespearean movies before. Like I most remember him from Much Ado About Nothing when he was the prince. And I also like how you have Nicole Kidman and Prunier. You had Naomi Watts for that one, right?
Yes.
And they're both Australian, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
They're best friends, and they're like the same age, and so I think that's cute.
That's really cute. I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fergs.
My random knowledge.
The more you know.
I like that you're switching up, racially expectations, especially if we're keeping it in the time period. I think that would be really interesting. Obviously, it probably wouldn't have been realistic in Shakespeare's time, but I think Denzel is such a good actor that he would be able to do the more patient, loving father, and then, bring home the heat. Like, remember the Titans? He has that huge speech. Like, he has 4 different speeches to his
That's so true.
That, like,
Which speech?
exactly. He has that, like, you will listen to me kind of moment. So I think that would be really good for Act 3, especially.
I also think that they would make such a cute couple in TV life. Like, I know that Nicole's happy with Keith Urban, and I don't know Denzel Washington's wife's name. So sorry, Denzel. But I mean, I think they keep together. And also they're around the same age, I think, approximately. So my Juliet, Zendaya. I think she's absolutely stunning.
She is.
I just think she's gorgeous. I believe she's 23. And who I picked for Paris does have something to do with the reason why I chose Zendaya, but I just think Zendaya, I saw her in I Love HBO. I pretty much watch almost anything on HBO. And she's in a show called Euphoria, which, again, ask your parents to watch it before you do, if you choose to. And I've loved watching her character's progression in the show Euphoria. it's so complicated. She kind of talks about, well, it's navigating what it's like to be a youth today, but it's way more complicated than that. And I tried to find her. It was really difficult for me to find a good picture. That's not true. There's millions of good pictures of Zendaya, but it was hard for me to find a picture that I thought would fit the role of Juliet for this show. So I tried to find the most whimsical ones I could find, and I just thought this dress that she's wearing, oh my God, talk about high fashion moment. I just love it. It's so romantic. So I also had some backups because there's also a couple other actresses I want to nod to for Juliet. I also thought of Keira Knightley. I love Keira Knightley because she is not only a powerful actress, but I just feel like she doesn't necessarily sink to the low beauty standards that so many Hollywood actresses do. She's literally talked in interviews before about how she refuses to do breast augmentation because she's against it. She's like an A cup and she's okay with it. And I think that that's a really important message to pass on to anyone because who cares what size you are? You gotta love yourself. And I think she's all for that. And I love her for that and many other reasons, but she's a great actress. And then we have Emma Watson over here. I think it goes without saying. I mean, she was one of my first choices for Juliet, but she and Keira Knightley are probably, I think Keira Knightley maybe is a little bit older than Emma Watson, but they're both a little bit older, so I didn't actually choose them for the role of Juliet.
I think Keira Knightley's like 10 years older than we are. I think she's, even though she looks super young, I think she
does look so young.
Yeah. I would love to see Emma Watson with the boy with Timothy, what was his last name?
Chalamet.
Yeah, I think they would be awesome together.
Well, and I almost picked Lily Rose Depp because Timothy Chalamet was dating her, but they broke up. So, by the way, we would have had so many similar picks, Miss P. Like we psychic? What?
But then you wouldn't be able to have Winona Ryder as
exactly
her mom. That wouldn't have been okay.
And I love the idea of Zendaya. Honestly, Zendaya is my number one pick. Oh my God, I went ahead, but the nurse is Whoopi Goldberg.
That would be fantastic.
I think she's wise. I would choose clearly Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost, which is the bottom picture here. Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, by the way. Which, by the way, Ferg, I have your book. I will return it to you.
Oh, no worries.
So good.
Finish it?
The biography on Demi Moore was amazing. I really enjoyed reading it. I couldn't put it down, seriously. But Whoopi Goldberg, she is so wise to me. I don't know. I was a big fan of Sister Act back in the day, sang all the songs, and I don't know. I feel like she would be cool to have as a guiding force in Juliet's life. Yep. But again, this is my ideal. So it would be, probably the 90s Whoopi. So this would be 20 years ago. So rewind 20 years, we have our nurse. And I did kind of not think about age when I cast these people because I just thought, oh, I'm gonna go hog wild with this.
I only ever picture her as 90s would be too. So it's like in my head, she is that age.
Well, I don't ever picture her being on The View, but I bet our students might. I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear what they have to say.
I don't even know if they would know her from anything.
They all have to have seen Sister Act. Like everyone's seen Sister Act.
I didn't see Sister Act until after I graduated college.
See Sister Act 2, because I think it's better than Sister Act 1.
I barely remember them. I just remember the songs.
Oh my god, joyful, joyful Lord. Okay, I won't go into it, but I could. But anyway, this is her in the movie Ghost, which was another one of my favorites growing up. She plays a psychic named Autumn Brown, and she's awesome. So check it out. Okay, Tybalt would be Christopher Walken, but young Christopher Walken. I think Christopher Walken
Meme is fantastic.
so interesting as a young person, but then he's clearly aged, and he's probably in his, I don't want to say he's in his 70s now.
Yeah, he's relatively old.
He's pretty old, but I would choose, younger Christopher Walken. Honestly, even 50s Christopher Walken, like, I'm convinced, like, he bad. This is him in Sleepy Hollow. I put this meme in here just to be silly. And then, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the SNL cowbell skit, but
Most famous SNL skit of all time.
yeah, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. So Christopher Walken was the guest on SNL back then. When he's wearing this red bandana kind of thing around his head, this is from the movie Deer Hunter, with him, Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, all of them just this young and angelic with their smooth skin. And this is probably the most iconic scene. You don't know it, but he's in Vietnam. He's in the depths of the Vietnam War with Robert De Niro's character, and the Japanese soldiers are about to make them play Russian roulette in this scene. So it's pretty intense. It's literally, I've seen The Deer Hunter once. I will probably never watch it again in my life. I'm glad I watched it though. So if there's one movie I could recommend right now, it's that. But again, I think it's rated R, but it's one of the greatest movies ever filmed.
I've never seen anything with Christopher Walken young, so I do think that would be an interesting, like I've only ever seen him classic, like older Christopher Walken. So I do like that.
He's honestly, I don't know why, but I do know quite a bit about him. I don't know why I know this, but I do know that he never says no to a role. He's one of those actors. So he's literally, anytime he gets an offer for something, he leads with yes. I wish everyone I knew would do that. So I don't know. I just thought he would be cool to put in this role. I'm going to go forward because I'm taking too long. Paris would be, we're going to throw back to the original, well, one of the OGs. We're going to go to Leonardo DiCaprio for Lord Paris. Well, is it Lord? It's not Lord. It's Count Paris. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I thought it would be cool to go back to Leonardo
Young Leo?
For Paris. I think he's 45 right now, but to be fair, his girlfriend currently is 22. And
they're always under 25. Every girl he ever dates.
Yeah, and pretty much Zendaya is older than his current girlfriend. So I figured that would be okay. But also, if I could cast him, I would cast him ideally around circa The Beach, when he filmed that movie The Beach, which I used to like, but back in the day. So also, I don't know if Ferg has any commentary on this photo, but
I do have some comments
about it.
I actually have commentary in general. So as everyone knows, I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's fantastic. He plays every part that he's ever been in so well. And I have very unpopular opinions about Romeo and Juliet. I hate Romeo. I think he's so whiny. I think he flip-flops between like girls. I think that like he just needs to get it together. So watching Leonardo DiCaprio in that role a year before he was in Titanic, and then seeing him in Titanic, it's just like it's hard to watch him as Romeo. I would have loved him as Benvolio in that movie, or even Tybalt, because Tybalt is my all-time favorite character. Again, unpopular opinions, because he is just, I mean, yeah, he's kind of a jerk, and yes, he's really dramatic and gets angry easily, but he's also super loyal to his family, and he is super loyal to himself. Like, he does not like being disrespected by any of the Montagues. And I don't know, I just like Tybalt the best. I think I know all my kids at school always tell me that I'm crazy for that, and they all hate him, but I love him. So I wouldn't actually mind. I don't think not Romeo, wow. I don't think Leonardo would have been able to play Tybalt back in 1996. But I think I kind of like the idea of Leonardo, like somewhere in between then and now, because now he's a little too old, as Tybalt personally. But I do also like Miss Paris, just not Romeo.
I think even now,
Ramble.
I was kind of thinking of Leonardo DiCaprio now. I was also thinking of trying to nod back to older versions of the movie because we do want to talk about those in a second. But I did want to nod back to it a bit.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of the actor that played Tybalt in the Zeffirelli version, who plays Basil Expedition in the Austin Powers movies, that guy. I can't remember his name, but he's the same actor. He plays Tybalt. And I was going to add him to the cast for another role, but I didn't. So my last character, I think this is the last one, is the Prince.
Oh, yes.
And I went with one of my favorite. This is probably one of my all-time top three, probably like heartthrobs of all time. I have the biggest crush on Colin Firth. He is so handsome. So in this he is Mr. Darcy, Lord Darcy, in Pride and Prejudice. Which, if you have a spare 8 hours and you can stream the BBC version with, oh God, what's her name? Does anybody know her name? Oh my God, she's amazing, as Elizabeth Bennet. And then we have Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. It's such a great story, romance, everything. Watch it. It's great. He's winning his Academy Award here, and I just don't know. He looks cute here. So I had him as the Prince because I thought he would be super cute in the role and also just love him. So yeah. So Fergs, do you want to offer? I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I think he's my last one. Reactions.
I liked all of them, actually. I definitely would mix some of like Purnier's and yours together. It was interesting when you're talking about the guy who played Tybalt, you were talking about like the old version, not the Baz Luhrmann version, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't take the Baz Luhrmann version seriously because it's John Leguizamo, and every time I hear his voice, I picture the sloth from Ice Age because he also played that. So every time he's like yelling, I'm just picturing Sid yelling.
That's so funny. I didn't know that he played. Oh my God.
Now you're never going to be, I'm sorry, I probably ruined it for you because you'll never be able to look at it the same.
Hilarious.
I just picture an angry sloth running around yelling.
That's too funny.
I think he's a great actor, but that's all I can think of at this point. But I do like him as Tybalt because he's all angry and no, he just has a certain quality to him that I like. He's like soft-spoken even when he is angry, which I like. He's not like yelling and flailing around. I don't know. I liked all of them. It is hard with the age thing because if we go with all young actors and actresses, I don't know a lot of them because I'm old, and I still perpetually live in the 90s no matter what. I do appreciate that neither of you put Nicolas Cage in there. Thank you. As we all know, I'm not the biggest Nicolas Cage fan. Yeah, I don't really have, I think I rambled already, so I don't really have much more to say.
I might sneeze.
Bless you. I think this was a lot harder than we both thought going into it. There was a lot of complexity between the characters and like how they interact with each other, and you want, Mercutio to be around the same age as Romeo and Benvolio, and you want them to feel like they could be a group of friends, but also not have, the same type of actor or the same, you know, person that's normally typecast for that type of role. I want people to be able to branch out, but at the same time, I wasn't really necessarily thinking about age as something that was dynamic.
Yeah.
Other than Julie Walters, I think, as the nurse, Molly Weasley. I love her. I think I tried to cast them close to what they are now, like 2020. But going back, if I thought about it more, about like, you could have like Julia Roberts circa like 1992 as Juliet. Like that would be so much fun.
Pretty Woman.
Like if I had a little bit of time relevancy in my mind, but I have a really hard time like thinking about time like that. I don't know. I'm also a lot younger than both of you. And it's definitely a downfall. I would have loved to see Whoopi Goldberg as the nurse. I didn't even think of her.
Yeah,
it sucks because I love her.
It's interesting to see all your choices since I like didn't put together my own. So I don't even like. I mean, I would love to put Bon Jovi in there. I don't think he'd fit in as anyone, but I'd still love to put him in there. But I was thinking for the Friar, that's the only one who I like really could come up with someone off the top of my head. And I would love to see Liam Neeson as the Friar because or even the Prince actually, because he just, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm thinking Taken in my head right now.
He has an intensity to him.
Yeah.
I feel like that the Friar also has that kind of intensity.
Like if Liam Neeson gave you advice, you would take it. You would sit there and go, okay, yes, Mr. Neeson, thank you for sharing.
But he can also be super loving, like Love Actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? He can be that like paternal figure, even if he doesn't entirely know what he's doing. Like it's still comforting that he's there.
Do you guys know, speaking of Love Actually, the guy that sings the Christmas song in that movie?
Bill Nighy?
I almost cast him as
Davy Jones?
I almost cast that guy as something. I forget what, but I was on the fence with him. It was that movie. It's always on Netflix at the holiday season, so I feel like we always watch it. But
I've only ever seen it once, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not like it. It was just
as much as people told me I would.
It was so depressing, and there were so many like
I love that movie.
Awesome moments. Like the guy confessing his love to like his best friend's wife.
Oh, that's creepy. That's the only creepy line.
Andrew Lincoln would have been a good Tybalt.
Yeah. Or Alan Rickman in that movie. Ooh. No.
Oh yeah, that's true. My husband says that Alan Rickman has milk mouth, which means he sounds like you just drink a glass of milk. So he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know. I'm sorry to make noises, but I feel like that's really funny.
the only movie besides, because I've only seen one of the Harry Potter movies. The only other movie I can really think of Alan Rickman in, besides Love Actually, which I've only seen once, is the best Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard.
I forgot he was in that. That's so true.
So I always just picture him with the accent, the Hans Gruber accent.
Also in Galaxy Quest.
Never seen it.
So
I'm a movie person, to be honest with you. I haven't seen a lot of movies.
I think you would like it.
Before we close today, do we all want to recommend something that would be nice to watch that's also school appropriate? Because I feel like I had a lot of ask your parents, make sure this is cool in this.
Does it have to be connected to Romeo and Juliet or anything at all?
I think just leaving everybody with a, hey, check out this show would be cool.
Cool. I don't know if I have anything.
I'm going to think for a second. Like
I'll start while you guys are thinking.
Okay.
Disney Plus, and as such, I have been reliving my childhood which is approximately from the year 2003 to 2008. First, this started off with High School Musicals and all that good stuff. And I've recently finished rewatching Phil of the Future
With Ricky Ullman.
with Ricky Ullman
Yeah.
and Ali Mashaka.
Mm-hmm.
It is my childhood, and it's wonderful.
Love that one.
Now I follow almost the entire cast on Instagram. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It holds up. It's still funny. I don't care. It's great.
That's not what I was expecting, but
I
I'm
love
so
it.
happy with that choice.
2004 to 2006. It's cut down too short.
Yeah.
But if anybody has Disney Plus, give it 3 episodes and then tell me you don't want to watch the rest of it.
My best friend used to have posters of Ricky Ullman all over her wall. I remember it well.
I love it.
I couldn't tell you anything about the actual show itself, but I remember him. Yeah, it's my best friend.
I still, like, the first time I rewatched it, I, like, sang along with the theme song, and I was like, I didn't realize that I cared this much, that, like, that's in my memory banks. And as I'm rewatching each episode, I'm like, oh, he's going to do this. I'm like, I didn't realize that I remembered every single episode, but I did. And it's part of me, and I love it.
Kingsbury, what do you have?
Okay, so I'm actually gonna share my screen real quick and just do one of these little things real quick. So we have Colin Firth there. I have been watching, what did I do? I'm sorry. Whoopsies. Okay, you have to be smarter than the machine. So, okay, I've been watching this show called Making the Cut, and it's basically Project Runway, but I love Tim Gunn.
He's great.
I watched this show. I love him so much. It's basically a designing show, and it's super fun, and I love it. But I've also been watching a lot.
Bloom, too. Like, the two of them back together.
Mhm. They're back together, and I love them. So hopefully, yeah, check it out. It's good. It's really good. I already watched it all, but it's good. I promise. Did I share my screen? Did I stop sharing it?
We only saw like a flash of Colin Firth, and that was it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that. I meant to record this. Making the cut. Can you see this?
Nope.
Oh, what?
We see your lovely face, and that's it.
Oh.
There
Oh,
There
okay. Okay, you have to click it twice. Word. Okay, so Making the Cut, Tim Gunn, Heidi Klum. Heidi Klum's a superstar. I mean, a
Supermodel.
supermodel. Yeah. She and, oh, what's her name? Naomi Campbell are judges on this show. It's really cool. It's different from Project Runway, so I don't know. It's a little bit different, but it's super good, and I liked it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Fergs?
You're actually gonna laugh at me for this. I am just so out of touch with movies and TV because all I do is like watch the Golden Girls or like crime shows. But I never got into The Office because of the whole, I don't know, the awkward humor where they just like look at the camera. I was never a fan of, right? But then all my students, one in particular, quotes it and tells me how great it is and I should watch it. So I haven't done that. I did one that I thought was going to be a little less stressful in terms of like staring at the camera, what have you. So I'm watching Parks and Rec, which I'd never seen before. And the reason I'm watching Parks and Rec is obviously because I love Rob Lowe as an actor. He's fantastic. He's wonderful in everything he does. And I just read his autobiography. As you know, I love celebrity autobiographies. I love them. And because I just read that one, I was like, getting back into The Outsiders and what have you. And I heard all about Parks and Rec via that autobiography. So I thought I would give it a chance. I think I'm almost in the last season. I think it's hilarious. I love it.
And they just had a reunion episode too.
Oh, don't tell me anything. No spoilers.
I won't say a thing, but they are it. I don't know if it got the best reviews, but I think I loved it. I personally loved it as a fan, and they're really just trying to raise money for I want to say a food charity, something to raise awareness for people that are struggling with food indeficiencies right now during COVID-19. So it's pretty cool. Check it out, you guys, if you like Parks and Rec. I think that if you have Hulu, it's right on there. So
It's also on YouTube, just the 22 minutes. But it's such a good cast. I was watching a Ben Schwartz interview, and he's in there, obviously. But I think he said it really well. He said something along the lines of like the cast of Parks and Rec will go down in history as one of the best overall ensembles, and I genuinely agree. I think the first couple of seasons.
Is he Ben Wyatt?
Hmm?
What? Is he? Who is he in the show?
I think he's the friend of Tom, right?
John Ralphio.
He's John Ralphio.
John Ralphio.
So the
Okay.
voice of Sonic.
John Ralphio.
But he's one of my absolute favorite comedians. But anyway,
He's hilarious.
I think the only difference between that and like The Office is that like there was a different separation from writers and actors. Like on Parks and Rec, there's a lot of cameos by the writers, but on The Office, it was like BJ Novak, Mindy Kaling, like a lot of the main actors also wrote all of the episodes. And I think that might have maybe not taken away from certain things, but I think that kept me from seeing them as their characters. So I was like, oh, they wrote this, you know? Like I knew that going into it, but
I think I
Parks
could
and Rec
like
is
The
great.
Office. Now that I've watched Parks and Rec, I never gave a chance, but because everyone like loved it, and so I was like, meh, I'm not gonna watch it.
You should totally watch The Office.
I also love how many people from Brooklyn Nine-Nine are actually in Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah, they're like best friends. They're all best friends.
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I have to go soon because I have a phone date with my sister soon.
Oh.
Being a good sis.
We can wrap this up. It was really nice having you join us, Fergs.
Thank you.
It was also really nice giving the opportunity to be a little bit more creative with the text and thinking about this through different light. I hope if you are one of our students that you are enjoying this type of content. We had a lot of fun putting this together. If you have any comments or additions to the cast, please comment below. You have our Google Classrooms if you want to add anything or contact us. Anybody else have anything to add?
No, I just love rambling about Shakespeare. And I guess if they have any recommendations on shows we should watch, because clearly some of us are a little out of touch with what's going on in pop culture currently.
Yes, comment below. What shows should we watch?
Got a lot of time on our hands.
School appropriate. Keep it clean.
Appropriate, yes.
Stay safe, guys. We love you.
Bye.